had 8 days ago in round 1. But we have entered round 2, and things will flip. So T1 from the blue side, what is the plan?
Well, the double tree, they've started with 1. Do we just get the second tree immediately? Is the question. Kind of similar to what we saw last time. And they are going to ban the Ezreal. So, yeah, I think this makes sense. Rumble ban coming out for Home Life Esports, no real surprise. Probably see the Ashe come through as well. Going to go for the Sejuani first, so maybe Ashe on 3. Otherwise, T1 could pick that up themselves. And again, even though we don't really see it flexed as much anymore, still could. They've actually gone for the Tristana ban, so throwing focus towards Ivan does put a bit higher prio on the Corki.
Yeah.
But I feel like Home Life could just play the Yone.
They definitely could. We might see that. It does feel like the Corki-Yone matchup has been happening a bit more nowadays with teams banning away Tristana, and I know this is a lot of T1 fans are calling for the Tristana to be banned and for Faker to play something else, but this is another thing they've been calling for. No more Ivern for Oner, and especially in this spot, you don't want to pick it. It's first pick Nidalee, like we're back to week 1.
Yeah, and I mean, Oner's had some really good games on this. You know, I feel like there was just situations where you got a lot of POG points racked up from him taking over games in the back of the Nidalee. Very momentum-based pick, and I think the way T1 plays best is really when they drive on the strength of their side lanes. You know, look to find pressure there and look to take over the game, and Oner can really do that with this, but it's going to be a quick response with the Vi. It looks like they're considering the Renekton follow-up as well. Don't think Zeus will be too bothered by this, but I think they're just mostly denying the Renekton Nidalee combo. Obviously very potent. Could possibly see Zeus go Gnaw into it, but instead going for the Zeri. So not only picking up the Zeri, but also the Vi. You know, a lot of team fighting power, a lot of shutdown potential for whatever AD carry T1 goes. So in those 5v5s, already Home Life Esports is feeling pretty scary. We'll see what T1 opt for here.
You could go ahead and pick your bottom lane if you really wanted to shut down Viper and pick a Nautilus with it, but that's not really what we see in the meta nowadays. A lot more focus on the top side of the map, especially if Ezreal is not available, and it is going to be Renekton chosen. So Renekton Nidalee, the duo, returns to the LCK.
Yep, so all in on the Nidalee, all in on making that work, have the setup for it in the top lane. So going to be interesting to see what Doran opts to pick that he feels safe on there. I think Corki makes sense, you know, with the Tristana gone. Priority's higher on that pick. So the top side locked in for T1 and means that damage spread is fine. The Nidalee going to provide the AP. And Home Life Esports toying with the idea of a mid pick here. You know, Tilia Vi has been really strong. They opt to go for that. It does mean, you know, so much single target takedown. And the thing is with the Zeri on your team, you have so much momentum after that first kill with the cleanup potential. So I feel like the team fighting is the investment for Home Life Esports. Really the laning is the investment for T1. And sort of trying to hamstring some more of the laning strength from T1. We see the Kalista ban come through. I think if I was T1, probably target things that Doran would want to play in the top lane. Maybe the Cassante, maybe even something like the Gnaw. Although to be fair, Gnaw into Renekton Nidalee you can target quite heavily.
Orange buff, literally. You just dive them over and over and you collect that buff. They're still going to ban it away. I think that a lot of teams are really highly rating Gnaw right now, and they say, well, we just don't want him to have his hands on that regardless.
Yeah, makes sense. Xayah ban I like as well. Obviously, able to avoid the pressure from the Vi. T1 go for the Rakan ban in this situation. I'm kind of interested to see, you know, since you already know the top lane matchup, I think they pick for Doran here. They could just take the Cassante. It'd really round out the comp nicely, and then they could save the Light's pick and see what T1 end up taking. But instead, looks like they're toying with the idea of the Jax. Obviously, you know, the Counter-Strike, really useful tool if you're getting Dove, can block the stun from Zeus to make the setup harder. So I do think it makes a decent amount of sense, especially since T1, presuming they pick an AD carry here, are going to be very auto-attack heavy. And it looks like they're looking at the Kai'Sa. They could just go Kai'Sa Nort in this situation. Would give them an answer for the Zeri in those team fights. And more setup for the Nidalee. Also works well in terms of poke, you know, between the Kai'Sa, the Corki, and the Nidalee. If you can't get on top of T1, a lot of pressure. But they instead opt for the Leona here. Obviously, Leona being super strong, but does mean later on, you know, cleanse, QSS options the Viper can take against it. And Delight will just lock in his Alistar. I don't know that's much of a surprise.
Alistair very strong right now. It is 20-10 in terms of win rate. And it's just really good into engage. And you look at the side of T1, they have the Renekton and the Leona. Things you're going to want to push away, but also you have further setup for your composition to get that Zeri going.
Yeah, and sometimes Alistair can struggle in comparison to like a Nautilus or Leona because his engage isn't as long range. You know, you have to be in W range. If you have flash, then sure. But they have a Vi. So all those concerns about, hey, they have a poke-heavy composition, we might be out of range, the Vi can easily solve those. So I think team fighting power, without a doubt, goes in favor of Honor Life Esports. The main thing I'm looking at is what can this Nidalee do? Can they just slow the pace of the game down and get into those 5v5s?
I'm glad we get a draft like this for game number 1 because it does feel like T1 have come in with a totally new plan. You see it right from the bans. They're not going for the same style that they played in the last couple of matchups, and they're trying to play their own style. They first pick Oner's Nidalee, and I think we're going to know right from this first game if it's going to work for them or if Honor Life Esports will just be the better team tonight.
Yep, a lot of pressure on T1's shoulders to get an early win in this matchup, especially banking on the power of this Nidalee in Oner's hands.
Well, let's see how it goes. Game number 1 of Saturday Showdown starts right now. Alrighty. As I didn't quite see who that was, but someone new was doing the chant for the side of T1. So apparently it's a YouTuber, Jang Sung-gyu from Workman. You guys may know him, announcer as well. But anyway, it was kind of did it in a funny manner, and I thought it deserves mentioning.
Hey, got a lot of a response, you know. I mean, T1 fans always loud, but definitely we're not on their side, and I could hear them very loud from over here. So
we also have the orange wave on our side. It does feel like it truly is Orange Day, which they reserve for only when Honor Life Esports are playing on Saturday Showdown, in Saturday Showdown. So kind of cool that we do have Orange Day starting off. But take a look at this. Talking about the League of Legends here. T1, early in Fade, going to take away the blue.
Yep, got a lot of information here, getting a ward down towards the Raptors of Peanut. The Light's going to spot this, not much you can do. The question is, how does Peanut respond? But if you look at the map, you know, there's full coverage from T1. They have a ward at Peanut's Raptors, they have a ward at Oner's Blue, and they have that ward they obviously just placed there in Peanut's blue side. So they will know where Peanut is at all times once he starts moving around the map. He's not going to be able to pull a fast one over Oner. And as a result, I don't think he's going to really be able to recover anything from this blue loss.
You see that Delight has played a lot of Alistair, a lot more compared to the other champions that his teammates are playing in this game. And he is a fantastic Alistair. A lot of our supports in the LCK, I feel like, are very comfortable on this pick.
I remember last year, I can't remember who said it to him, but I think it was Callan who said, one of his teammates had said, you know, watch Delight play Alistair and just do that. Yeah. Because he was on an absolute tear on this champion. Really confident on it, and I feel like with the prevalence of like things like Leona, but also just in this comp in general, into Renekton as well, it's such a struggle trying to get onto the backline when Alistair can just like headbutt the Renekton away, cause a lot of issues for the pick.
Yeah. Also, the engage potential is just ridiculous. I mean, if you've got someone to set up plays, or you can set them up yourself, I mean, he doesn't really have that onus on him just because of the Vitalia in this one, but he can easily follow up on those plays. It's going to be really, really fun to watch Delight's positioning in this one. Yeah,
that's the one thing, is that without Flash, Alistair can skills. Yeah, that's a pretty solid win rate. I feel like without Flash, Alistair can struggle a bit into long-range picks, but again, if you have the setup from a Vi, you're kind of chilling. And Doran, definitely going to be on the back foot in this matchup. He is basically just trying not to lose trades so that he's in a position he can be dove, you know, because if you get low enough on HP, Counter-Strike isn't going to do enough to help you out.
Kind of messed up some of his CS under the turret, but yeah, he's definitely going to be catching up with that wave coming in here. The fact that he's played 24 games of Jax and he's only lost 3 is kind of incredible. Doran has been on some really strong teams, but yeah, nearly 90% win rate with that many games played is kind of insane. As Oner, you know, they've been putting him on Sejuani, they've been putting him on Ivor, and it's been a little while.
That's actually significant because now if he passes through here, he'd be seen on the ward.
Yeah. Actually, the angle would have been perfect. He was behind, but now he's kind of in an awkward spot. They could still try to go for it. If Doran, okay, the angle isn't there. Yes, it is. Doran is going to live, and Zeus is going to die. Doran able to get away from the gank.
Such a clutch play from Doran. That's why we have the win rate we just saw on our screens before. Able to avoid the play. Zeus with the flash stun into the spear, but just not quite enough damage. And you know, we were talking about how T1 really playing the win lane, win game angle. That is not a good start for them.
I mean, they're trying to win lane, win game, especially through the top lane, especially through Renekton Italy, and it goes awry already.
Yeah, I mean, Renekton's a lizard, so he has scales, at least.
Yeah.
Doesn't really...
He's going to scalesing.
He's scalesing, yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to scale quite as well.
As the Jax.
As the Jax, or the Zeri.
Or just playing into Talia Alistair.
Yeah, might be a little bit of a rough time. Actually, a lot of a rough time. Definitely needed to get ahead. Now, Doran's just on parity. He goes back, picks up early plated steel caps.
Yep.
And now the lane is just... It just feels kind of free. I mean, yes, Oner might make another pass in a little while, maybe after level 6, but I don't even know. I mean, it's going to have to be a really good position to punish Doran from here.
The thing that gets really scary as well is the Talia mid lane potentially being able to roam. And the reason they went for this play was so there was no counter-strike available, but it's the ward into the leap strike. I feel like was the big shining light of that play. Just doing that quickly enough that there couldn't be the follow-up from Zeus. And Zeka getting full value out of his health bar. You know?
Calculated, yeah. If we do look at this one, as we do have, by the way, it is Doran's 5th year anniversary, so congratulations to Doran. He sounded very excited when he's like, I got him. But yeah, in the mid lane, Zeka does not have TP, neither does Faker, so that's actually a really good trade that Faker takes to push Zeka out of lane, gets him behind a little bit, as we do have Doran trying to get over here and stop them from taking the Krugs, or the Grubs, rather. But Peanut's doing the Drake, so yeah, not going to be able to stop them.
I feel like that was such a psycho play. Like, your jungler's doing Dragon, you're into Renekton Italy, you know enemy support's coming up, and Doran's like, yeah, I'll mess about a bit, you know, I'll just vibe in the pit.
Yeah.
And I mean, he gets away. The value of the Counter-Strike into, like, Leona Renekton is just absurd. Oh.
An angle here for Guma. He's putting on the pressure. This is right before level 6 for Zeri. As the light will come in and kind of end the fun. But a really nice angle there actually taken by Guma to try to just exert a little bit of extra pressure.
Oh, yeah, Doran's in trouble now, though. Ult's been for this trade, and now Doran's super low. Zeus getting some damage on the tower, and 3 grubs secured means it's going even faster. T1 doing some work to try and regain pressure here, but Peanut is now here and has ultimate.
They're going to try to turn this one around. I mean, they do see them, but they're not going to commit to trying to get a stun down. Doran at least is going to be taxied into the wave.
Yep. Oh. Don't think they can dive with Peanut there, but definitely putting some fear back into Doran, you know. Lane not over yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is Renekton Italy, so if there's ever a big wave and your jungler's not up there, you're always going to be in danger. So, got to be careful. And Doran is, again, he's only 5 CS behind, so he's still kind of vibing. It's now Faker. Kind of a rough spot here, going to get flashed on. And now the Zeri coming on in, but Faker, nice Valkyrie and flash away. And Viper's not even going to follow.
Yeah, hard one there for Delight to really find a good angle. Didn't knock Fake into an ideal spot. I feel like if that play had been a bit later and Peanut was there to follow up, that's just a kill. But in the end, it's just a trade of summoners. Delight's still okay with it because he has Hex Flash. But not quite the play they were maybe hoping for. We can see across the board, T1 does have a lead. Mid has been going well. Oner does have a lead in the jungle. But obviously, they need a lead to make this composition work.
Well, they do have one. Those leads, we'll see how they can utilize them here, as it has crested above 1,000 gold in favor of T1 early on in this game. How Life Esports did get the Drake, but the 3 grubs did go over to T1, so still a relatively even game state at this point.
Yeah, and we see Oner once again hanging around towards the top side, but flashes back up for Doran. Actually has a level lead. Zeus should pick it up here, but yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the top lane matchup, it's gone pretty swimmingly. Viper going to pick up a play here as well. The gold lead is still a deficit. Faker's been having a pretty fantastic time in the mid lane, but overall, I think Honor Life Esports navigating this early game about as well as they'd hope. Zeka, though, been struggling a bit in that mid lane matchup.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, is that if Zeka was having a good time mid and getting significant advantages, the game might just be over because of the map presence of Talia. But Faker's been holding up well and kind of keeping him at bay for now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, we saw it earlier on, like, Faker was taking a good trade. He nearly actually killed Zeka, but Zeka was forced to back in a really awkward timing, missed an entire wave, also gave a turret plate over to Faker, so that's really where the majority of that difference in the mid lane does come from. Just the one big trade that did go the way of Faker. You see a lot of focus from Oner on the top side of the map, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, kind of expected. And that just brief 1% when Peanut comes top and says, don't dive my top laner, and that's it. We do see grubs spawning up in about 10 seconds, and both teams posturing over. Mid laners down in bot lane, but both have TP. We could end up seeing our first 5v5 here. But again, I don't feel like Honor Life Esports need to unnecessarily take a fight if they don't see the angle. Would be good if they can deny the 6 grubs, though. See the light posturing, he does have that Hex Flash if he wants to get over the wall.
Yeah, at this point in time, though, T1 have 4 people right here, and Doran is backing. He is going to TP into this one, but it's quickly turning into that 5v5 you were talking about. Zeka looking for the angle on the wall, as already 4 grubs going over the side of T1, and Keria just wants to fight as they immediately dunk onto Peanut, and he goes down. But the turn here onto Zeus as he's going to fall, but Doran on the run is going to hop away, and T1, they do trade 1 for 1, but take a look at this. They have control of the river, and that means they should get 6 grubs.
Yeah, super decisive play there from Keria. Peanut didn't get to play the game. No flash used, no ult used, and I feel like that loss of power, that engage threat being unavailable, really killed the ability for Honor Life Esports to do more in that fight. They do get a second kill for Doran, but it will be 6 grubs over to T1, and they'll instantly look to make use of those in the top lane. Faker getting some more damage on this tower.
Yeah, I mean, Faker at this point is just so fed, right? Like, there hasn't been a lot of interaction in mid. He's been CSing like a madman, and now he's just getting all these plates in the top side, and Delight and Zek are here trying to save this turret. I don't think they can, as one last shot will do. It doesn't even need it, as the grubs get to work, and T1 take down the first turret.
Yep, and still got 2 minutes left, and I feel like when you have 6 Void Grubs, you get an angle to really pressure towers, you take them so quickly. They're looking for a dive on Zeus, though.
Zeus in a bit of trouble here, especially with the TP coming on in. The Talia just to join in on this one, and Zeus, no Dominus, no hope of survival. As wow.
Shiv! You know, I was just going to say,
that was pretty nice.
I feel like Zeus, you know, he used the Q on the minions, didn't really get much value from it because he didn't kill them, and then didn't have it for the dive. But Guma just shivs and gets the whole wave, so, you know, he prepped it.
Yeah.
He knows his job. 0-3-0 in Ekton. His role is just to die and let Guma get fed, I guess, or let Faker get fed.
Yeah.
We're going to replay up this fight. So it's just decisiveness of Keria here. The stun, layered CC with the ER. Peanut doesn't play the game, but I like the peel from Honor Life Esports, and we're kind of seeing the struggles of an Ekton who's going to have more and more as this game goes on. But we see HLE get chunked out too much, and they can't really do more in this fight.
Yeah. Second Keria goes in, so does Delight, but the health trade goes in favor of T1. And it does work out. This is the dive, pretty straightforward. Yeah. By Talia, you've got Peanut there, or rather Doran there as well.
I think Zeus knew his fate, didn't try to go for the empowered Q heal under tower, and was like, you know, I'm dead. Get as many minions as you can, set up Guma, and now Doran looking for an angle, but they don't really have the setup between the Corki Nidalee to land those skill shots. Plate's going to drop in about 15 seconds. T1 not really able to get anything more with their grubs.
Yeah. Zeka pushing top side. He's got Delight nearby, just shadowing. So you see that Zeus, he's died 3 times. He's like, well, I think I know what's coming here. While our team pushes the bottom lane, I'm just going to back away and try not to die a 4th time. T1 should be able to take down this turret extremely fast. 6 grubs, down it goes. And, I mean, compared to the speed of Zeka pushing alone in top, this is very good for T1. They're just going to keep pushing.
Yeah, and I mean, Peanut's getting a Herald on the cross map, but what is a Herald? Something to take towers. T1 will just take the towers.
Yeah.
You see them moving up to defend, though.
Oh, the double stun with the counter-strike, and now Zeri is popping off Viper. Gonna help in dealing damage as Doran picks up the kill. And they push, they get a bunch of damage into that turret, but they will pay 1 life for it.
You know, and I don't feel like all of these fights have really boiled down to Doran's impact, but he's been the one picking up the kills every single time. And he is so strong right now that he's going to become a big problem for the side of T1 in this one. 4-0 Jax already is very scary.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is that if he's not there or if he gets isolated, then that's so much of your gold just down the drain, because T1 are still, you know, more than 1,000 gold ahead, and a lot of that gold is shored up just in the Jax. So a lot of pressure on Doran, which hasn't necessarily been the angle for Humble Life Esports in their wins.
Yeah, it's been a lot more about Viper, who's kind of just quietly been farming up. Obviously picked up a couple of assists. But I think as well, it puts a lot of weight on Doran's TP. If T1 can burn his teleport, that's a lot of time where he can't side lane, can't be that nuisance there. And on top of that, has to kind of hover around the team in case a fight does break out. We do see Humble Life Esports will pick up this tower in the top lane, mitigate some of that goal difference.
Yeah, finally. He is not going to deny the cannon.
Nope. He's like, you know what, Zeus, you need this one. You can have it.
He does. He does need it.
He did, yeah.
Desperately.
I feel like it's such a grim scenario where one side lane is a Talia, not fun for Renekton. The other side lane is a fed Jax.
Not fun for Renekton. Yeah.
Really. Faker seems to be okay in that matchup, but no, not great. Not great. The side lane pressure is something I feel like Doran should really look to capitalize on. We do have a Dragon Each at this point, and it is a Mountain Soul. A lot of value here, I feel like, especially Humble Life Esports, to kind of mitigate the poke coming out from T1.
Yeah, I mean,
teams will be very much after it. You know, didn't get a Chemtech Soul, didn't get a useless one.
Yeah,
the value is there.
Thank you for that, Ox. As we did have T1, it was the second Drake of the game, so no Chemtech Soul yet. And Hextech Drake gonna be feeling good, as here's the play down on the bottom side. Just 2 people trying to push the turret, they get punished.
Yeah, good stun coming out. And yeah, Doran ends up cleaning up the kill. Could have given it to Viper, but you know what? Viper didn't earn it.
So Faker is so far up the lane here. He's trying to trade on a Zeka, but he has Seraph's finish. That's just a kill going over to the side of Humble Life Esports, and Zeka did have to TP for it, but they still have Doran's TP.
Yep, and 5 kills now for Doran. He's just racking them up every single time. There's no consideration, could I leave this? The answer is always no. Why would I leave this? And he didn't bid his TP. I think that's a big thing to point. This was Zeka joining Doran, not Doran joining Zeka.
Yeah.
So they still have that TP pressure off the Zac available. They are just going to herald in, get the tower very low.
Doran's like, you want to fight? Like, let's go. I've got my counter-strike ready. Come on, Keria, let's throw him down. But yeah, I mean, just trying to put on that pressure before we do get the Drake that is about to spawn. Take a look at the difference in support gold. Keria is 1,000 gold ahead of Delight. I don't even know how that's possible.
Oh, it was the first tower taken top. Keria got the shared gold.
I guess that makes sense.
So yeah, Keria going to be very tanky. But yeah, I mean, not much Faker can really do when he's that pushed up. Bidding the flash, I'm just going to say it was a big mistake. You know, Seraphs was there for Zeka. You weren't killing Zeka.
Yeah.
And now, going into this team fight for Dragon, if I'm Humble Life Esports and there's a fed Corki without flash, I know who I want to target. And they have a vial, so it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
You just getting range and press R.
Well, T1 do have control of the river for now, but if Humble Life Esports are able to make like an outpost here around mid and just press those buttons as you mentioned, they're going to be in a good spot. And Faker is way down the lane. They're trying to engage, but that engage is going to not work at all. And now T1 are like, well, I guess we just cannot fight. I say that though, they are sticking around. Some missiles being thrown out, some spears as well.
Yeah, the poke threat's still big. And obviously wasn't an ideal engage, but they did at least get Zeka's flash there, and he's chunked out.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still trying to hold strong here, but more poke connecting. Zeka's so low, and the TP is coming in for a flank angle.
The TP is coming in, and Zeka, not sure if he even spotted him here, as now the engage comes in. Zeka, no flash, but the seismic shove to get him away! Zeka stays safe. Peanut, though, extremely low, but down should go Keria. No, he is not going to. He survives, and the Drake goes to T1. Humble Life Esports on the run, trying to get out, and Doran, the Magnum shutdown, goes over to Oner, although we do have Guma going a bit deep. He does take out Peanut, but trades his life for it, trying to open up some more kills for his teammates, but it's not quite gonna happen.
The 0-3 Renekton value, the flank angle that comes in, and sure, Humble Life Esports do a great job of making sure Zeus cannot get on Zeka, but they burn so much to do so. This read from Zeus was so fantastic. Comes in, preps the ult early to get the rage bar, and as he comes in, Zeka's already thrown the Unraveled Earth, he seismic shoves Zeus, and immediately the Vial is committed. So now, your biggest tools have been burned on the Renekton. Guma's able to ult in and free hit. Doran is focusing Keria and doesn't even manage to succeed, so Oner can just clean up that for the shutdown. And look at Guma and Faker, they're full HP. They haven't been touched. Guma, not his best play, but you know, I respect the hustle.
Hashtag worth, got the kill.
Yeah.
Yep.
But man, I just think it's crazy how much attention Zeus drew there as this super malnourished Renekton who's been having such a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, he is at least still going to fulfill an excellent flanking role as he did in that team fight, and yeah, huge value for the team. And you see the difference right now in terms of XP. It's nearly 2 levels between Oner and Peanut as the farm of this Nidalee, and the fact that he got that massive shutdown on the Jax as well. I mean, Oner's just ginormous right now.
Oner was already fed, and now it's become even more severe. And the thing is, if the poke is just too much of a problem for Humble Life Esports, and they can't find a good engage angle, they just lose every setup. And the takeaway as well is T1 got the Dragon on that fight, so they are stacking towards that soul. And it will just make things harder and harder as the game goes on. You see, Humble Life Esports very focused on trying to get this mid-tier 1 down. It's so low, it wouldn't take much, but T1 are refusing to give it up.
Oh man, and Oner's just really on his game. You know, we talked a lot about the first pick Nidalee in the draft, and now Doran, he does have flash, but trying not to use it, he's not going to have to.
You know what? I feel like it's not even just the flash. He has a trinket and he had a control ward, and he's just like, nope, I will save these. Oh man, that poke.
Oner's just not missing.
The thing is as well, you know, you have such a short cooldown on your spears. Even if you hit 1 and 3, as long as you hit 1, it does so much damage now. It just makes it impossible for Humble Life to fight.
Yeah.
So just keep throwing them. And eventually the pressure will come through. You also have poke from the Kai'Sa and the Corki. Not so much right now from the Kai'Sa, needs the AP from the Nash's Tooth for the resets as well. But Faker with the Triforce Manamune, those rockets are actually starting to do a fair bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just chipping them away, and you see T1's game plan there for a while was just group as 4, group as 5, and just kind of throw a bunch of spears, throw a bunch of poke into Humble Life Esports, and just not allow them to get map control. I don't think that they can quite run at the Baron just yet, as much as T1 would like to. As Oner, desperate to try to get a Scuttle Crab here, is going to have to pay for it with this flash. Now Delight has to throw his ult in, but they'll be happy to get that flash out of Oner.
Yeah, very aggressive play there. Oh, Viper's in trouble.
Yeah, he is going to have to throw the ult in. Now he's just going to flash away, and now look, Delight is caught once again, but the seismic shove is huge from Zeka. Keria in a rough spot once again. He's going to have to just walk this one off in kind of a rough spot.
Yeah, Faker getting some damage on the side. I think he just take this, and he will get it. So finally that battle over the mid-tier ones. T1 will be the victors there. And I think the play from Life Esports felt very aggressive, but I actually really liked it if they were able to disengage. But unfortunately, Viper gets caught on rotation, his flash goes down, and so the trade-off, not as positive as you'd hope. If they just manage to get the flash from Oner, break the wrist, walk away,
yeah,
would have been fantastic. But unfortunately, got more than they bargained for, and didn't even manage to finish off Keria there. So Viper being flashless is a bit of a vulnerability, but I think the big thing is they still have... Oh no, oh no. Oh.
Zeus is so close to flash.
Yeah.
And it is Zeri, but like, man, imagine they catch Viper without his flash up, without his ult available, right before the Drake is about to spawn.
It would be a lost Drake, a lost fight. Life Esports, they can target Oner, but he has stopwatch now as well, so taking that flash not nearly as valuable when he can just go on a stasis. Life Esports once again moving down towards the bot side.
Yeah, they just concede Banana Brush control, and they say, okay, we're fine to just fight here.
Trying to circumvent them. A ward being thrown down. Zeus could go for a similar trick, TPing in for the flank, but they might be wary of it now.
Yeah, it's just going to be a flip here, I think, but Oner not in position to go for the smite. It does go the way of Peanut, and now they're turning on a Keria, who's left out to dry. Nobody can get in there. On the side of T1, Keria goes down. Life Esports looking for more. As the flash comes in, the counter-strike hits two, but the front line is being chipped away with the engage from Delight. Gets onto the back line, and now Faker and Guma in a really terrible spot. They're both going to be taken down. Life Esports crush the fight.
Beautiful target selection from Life Esports, using all these layered forms of engage to get on top of the members of T1. They're moving the Baron. They have no jungler. Oner is alive. They have a lot of confidence they can make this work. They're going to need to use Delight and Zeka in particular to keep Oner out of the pit. He can't even get close. We see Peanut still not on the map. This is delicate.
Yeah, I mean, trying to get vision, horizon focus, but it's just not going to happen. And Life Esports able to zone him away. They have an Alistair, and that is Baron on all 5 members of Hanwha. And
I just love how Life Esports play this one, because when Keria goes in, Doran zones, and everyone just peels away, take out the Leona, and then focus on this Renekton afterwards. And then the call here, they still have Vial, Doran has Flash, is to follow up.
Beautiful.
They take the Renekton, they peel back again, and then Delight finds this great flash angle over the wall. Honestly, feels like between Delight, Doran, and Peanut, all of them played that so well, getting onto the key targets.
Yeah, it was awesome just to watch, like, one by one, the different stages of the team fight, the different layers of the onion being peeled back. Life Esports, they win the fight. You talked about their team fight composition really shines in that last one. And now they take the Baron. They don't have a huge gold lead right now, but they have absolutely taken over this game. They get themselves a Mountain Drake on top of everything, and they're going to look to take some gold off the map and extend that lead here in the Red Bull Baron power play.
And this is such a rough spot for T1 to be in, because, we kind of talked about before, the Renekton is going to fall off, the Nidalee not going to be as relevant late. And Life Esports team fighting is so strong, so them picking up all these structures and getting all this gold is going to be such a huge payoff. T1, the ideal scenario of this game would be they secured that 3rd dragon, maybe a Baron themselves.
They're fake backing. Oh. They're fake backing. They're not actually backing. And Faker, he falls for it, trying to just farm in front of them, and that is going to be Faker down. And now Doran is just gigantic on the Jax, and they're just diving over the wall. It's very risky, but they just don't care as they're getting into that back line. T1 are falling like a house of cards. Life Esports will win this game.
The confidence from Life Esports, the fake back into the Faker pick, and every time it looks like the fight is over, one more person steps up, finds the angle, continues in. Honestly, just some beautiful execution there. Very crisp team fighting, and Life Esports start this series off with a bang.
Absolutely. Huge win from Life Esports in this one. T1 were able to win early.